I, 26F, told my BF, 29M, of 2 years today that I love him for the very first time. He didn't reciprocate. Hey. So Troy and I have been together for a little over a year and a half, June will be 2 years, and it has been so great. I have never had anything flow so naturally. There have definitely been a few instances where we haven't seen eye to eye but have never fought. Romance life is great. We don't live together. Really happy relationship on both fronts. Troy has only told one girl ever that he loved her, which was whatever to me. I was indifferent about that. But also thought it was nice because that means he doesn't say it unless he really feels it. I recently lost my dad and older brother and it has been very tough on me. Through the situation and how he has stood by me, I had the realization that I do indeed really truly love this guy. Not just puppy love but like real deep in my bones love. It has been stressing me out to feel in love with him because I didn't want any strong feelings to scare him off. And because I wasn't sure if he was there or not with his feelings. So this morning we were moving my office and he could tell I had been annoyed or stressed. So he was trying to get it out of me and I just came out with it. The big I love you. I knew he wasn't going to reciprocate, and he was so very sweet about it. He said, this is verbatim, it doesn't drive me away from you, but it also doesn't bring me closer. I know how I feel about you and our relationship. That wasn't all that he said in the conversation but just assured me that he wasn't going anywhere and not to stress or overanalyze anything. So, even though I knew he wouldn't reciprocate, it is tough to tell someone, your best friend in the whole world, that you love and are in love with them and not to hear it back. So my question/advice I need is this: would it put too much pressure on him to ask the following question? Do you ever see yourself feeling that way about me eventually? Or am I wasting my time? Not over text or phone of course, but I feel like I'm in a vulnerable state right now and I don't want to ask anything that comes across as crazy or puts too much pressure on him. Too long didn't read told my so of a year and a half I loved him for the first time, he didn't say it back, want to ask if he'll ever feel that way about me. Edit/update, just finished talking with him. We spent about 20 minutes talking about smoked salmon, and then I was like, hey, what's the fucking deal? Not really that dramatic, but I just said, can I ask you a question? Do you ever see yourself feeling that way about me? It is okay if you don't feel it now or just aren't ready to say it. We are obviously both very laid-back people in a healthy relationship. But saying I love you is a huge deal to me. And you basically told me that my love for you had zero impact on you by what you said earlier. Am I just wasting my time? Then he said, loving somebody is a huge deal for me. And I can't answer that question. You are most definitely not wasting your time. For me, saying that I love you means marriage. That is what it means to me. I am very emotionally invested in you, but that is like asking me if I see myself as the manager at company he is currently the manager at, in 4 years. You aren't wasting your time, and I want to be with you, but I am not somebody who plans out my life step by step. You just caught me off guard when you asked me your office. It was unexpected, and even after all this time I was surprised that was what was bugging you. I don't want you to leave just because the words I love you are hard for me to say. Edit number 2, well, after reading a lot of responses and I guess thinking a lot and getting clarity, I am just frustrated. Because I see his point of view. He is an assisted living facility director and I am a nurse practitioner. I thought maybe it's the whole seeing people die causes emotions to numb a little. Since that is totally a thing, when you see a lot of people pass away, even if it isn't in a brutal way, it does make you a little less soft and squishy inside. But I also feel like he should have been able to answer my question a little better. I don't know, I am so beyond confused right now. This sucks. Edit number 3, I just commented this below but I'll post up here. He came to my work today as a patient to get some blood draws and I did the draws and was pretty passive. I kept thinking that if I stopped putting in any effort he wouldn't even care. He would lose interest if I stopped trying. I've realized that it isn't 50-50 on effort, but I believe both partners need to put in 100/100ths. I realized it's me pulling the relationship through. It isn't about him saying he loves me or not, it's about me not feeling special to him. That if I walked he wouldn't care, he would just be relaxed and really not even notice any sort of difference, which really sucks. I don't think that it is anything that is that repairable. I can't remember the last time that he asked me to actually hang out with him. I remember I waited an entire week just for Hi to ask to see me, and although he texted me, didn't care to see me. So I guess I just have to buck up and tell him I have to leave him. All of the comments have really given me some clarity. It wasn't about him saying he loves me or loving me, it was about him just genuinely not giving a duck. He liked the companionship, the romance, and all the food we ate together, but just doesn't care about me.
Hey guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. It would really help me out, thanks.
No, I think it's a pretty fair question to ask. Especially after 2 years. You don't sound crazy for wanting to find out exactly where you stand with him and where things are going. Good luck. Me, 26/F, with my 29M, 2 years. I told him I loved him for the first time, he didn't reciprocate. Cheating update. Well, I posted an update that got deleted, and I am sure glad that it did. Since new events transpired just today, less than an hour ago. We had a long talk, and he was so confused why I needed so much verbal reassurance, and I told him it was because I wasn't seeing it in his actions. In my last post I had mentioned in a comment his absolutely insane ex. Well, she texted me this today: your perfect little Troy has another side piece named Allison. With dates that they hung out, and pictures of her. Now I know how crazy this girl is, so I immediately got him on the phone to ask him what is up. He admitted to all of it. He had been sleeping with this other girl for a few weeks. He said it would never happen again. I told him we would never happen again, and we are done. Since I am sure she probably wasn't the first. Already set up an appointment with the MD at the practice I work at, I am an NP, to get tested for any STIs. Blocked his number. Luckily we don't live together or have anything shared. I have a toothbrush and a set of scrubs at his house but don't give a damn about that. Well, it sucks. I am so angry right now, and I know the sadness will hit. I loved this guy. 2 years of my life on this guy. Dang it Reddit, damn it. TL didn't read. He was a cheating butt. He said it would never happen again. I told him we would never happen again, and we are done. Burn. Nicely done. Good riddance. The way he worded his response and everything on the last post, I was inclined to believe something wasn't right. When the dude you've been dating for 2 years says so clinically, it doesn't drive me away but doesn't drive me closer after you say you loved him is very bizarre. Yeah, I thought it was weird but just thought he was more emotionally astute than I thought he was. Not that he was cheating. It is the worst feeling in the world. I, 22F, have finally found the courage to leave my now ex-boyfriend, 26M, after finding out he cheated on me for the 3rd time, but I don't know how to let him go. Our relationship has been a rocky one to say the least. It all started on Tinder in October 2014, we hit it off almost immediately, met up shortly after, and it became intense very quickly. But we were happy, so it didn't matter to us at the time. Fast forward to the end of May 2015, and he broke up with me over WhatsApp because he wasn't sure he felt the same way about me as I did him. He said he was having doubts, and he wasn't sure he could give me what I wanted from him emotionally. That same day, he came back to me and said he'd made a massive mistake, and we got back together, and things went back to normal until August, the same year, where he broke up with me again over WhatsApp for the same reasons. I was heartbroken, but I swore this would be the last time, so I cut him off completely. But, as I'm sure you can guess, he came back to me at the beginning of September and we tried to work things through. At this point, I was in America for a holiday, I'm from London, so we weren't seeing each other, just talking over WhatsApp. I lost my aunt to 9/11 and went to the memorial service at Ground Zero, and I really needed him, but he disappeared for the whole evening and resurfaced the following morning, saying his phone was peacefully deleted and he hadn't bothered to charge it when he got back home. I shrugged it off, but would later come to learn that he'd gone on a date with another girl he'd met from Tinder, let's call her Z, and had spent the night at her place. I came back from America and moved to university for my final year. He was constantly coming up to see me, it was 2 hours from London, and I found out during this time that he'd been romantic texting a girl, let's call her N, prior to our breakup in August, and had kept Tinder the whole time we'd been together since October 2014. I was devastated. I gave him chance after chance, and he continued to screw me over. The first time he'd come up to see me, I went through his phone, and while he was on his way, he texted the same girl Z, making dinner plans with her for the following week. He bought me an eternity ring and swore it would never happen again. I loved him so much, I wanted to believe it, so despite going against my instincts, the advice of my best friends and logic, I gave it another shot. This is in October 2015. A year has passed since we met, we've been through poop, but we're finally in a place where I'm happy, and I feel as though he is too. In February 2016, he went to watch the Super Bowl at his friend's flat. I fell asleep and woke up abruptly at 4 AM and checked my phone, and thought it was weird I hadn't gotten a message from him. I logged into his Find My iPhone, he didn't know I knew his password at this point, and saw he was at some student halls in central London. My stomach turned and I knew immediately what he'd done. He'd cheated on me, physically, with someone else. He woke up and rang me saying he'd fallen asleep on his friend's sofa, and I confronted him. It took him 2 hours to confess he'd gotten a random phone call from N, the same girl he'd romantic texted while we were together before, and on impulse he had gone to see her. I asked him why and he said he didn't know. He came to see me the same day, and of course, you guessed it, I gave him another chance. By this point, things were getting strained between me and my best friend. I love her to peaceful deletion, I always have and I always will do, but she struggled to stay supportive of this whole situation after the second strike. I don't blame her, and God knows I wish I'd listened to her advice. I persuaded her to give him just one last chance, saying this was really it. And it was it. We were happy. He was everything I wanted. We became serious, talking about marriage, engagement, houses. In October 2016 I had to temporarily move to another city for 3 months for work after I graduated, and it was tough. We'd done long distance before though, so I knew it'd be fine. I logged into his Facebook one day and saw he'd searched these random girls, and had also searched N. I flipped at him. This conversation took place on the 23rd of October 2016, and he tried to calm me down by saying it was girls his friends were seeing. He was curious, and he had searched N only by her first name because he had an aunt of the same name and was trying to find her. And, like an absolute ducking fool, I believed him. And now we are here, March 2017. I'd had trust issues for a while with him now, and I constantly checked his Facebook and emails. I saw a marketing email from a Muslim dating app, and wondered if it was just from an old account. We're both from a Muslim family. So, I downloaded the app, entered his email address, and bam. Messages to girls, from October 2016. The same time I was flipping at him, he was messaging another girl asking if she wanted to exchange numbers. He told her he was looking to get married in the next few years, and he wanted to start looking now. I was crushed. I rang him. I broke up with him. I cried, he cried. My friends have cried for me that I don't deserve this. I tried, I really ducking did, but everything you have to offer will never be enough for the right person. I'm struggling. We're still talking, but the conversation is basic. I can't just cut him out of my life completely, it's too hard. I know I will have to eventually, but right now it'd be too much for me all round. Now that I've spent a good half an hour writing this out, I've never done this before, I can see I was an idiot. I realize I was an absolute fool and I should have walked away after the second breakup, if not the first. I should have run a mile as soon as I found out everything I did about him keeping Tinder the whole time we were together. I shouldn't have let him have control over me. I shouldn't have let him gaslight me. Whenever I had suspicions, he'd turn it back round onto me and make me feel as though I was being psycho. After all this, I don't doubt myself as a person, I know my worth. I'm brilliant, I'm clever, and I'm a great friend. I won't let him take my love for myself away. I have so much love to give, and when I eventually find the right person to give it to, things will be okay. But I'm not thinking about that right now. I also transferred him money for his birthday to chip in for an iPad for him, and I asked for it back when we broke up. I put it toward PT sessions, and I'm gonna get in the best shape of my life and make him regret even more that he's lost me. If you've made it this far, thank you. I don't want or expect sympathy. I know this is also my fault, as I should have gathered the courage earlier to walk away, but it's incredible the hold that someone can have over you, so much that it makes you lose your logic and reasoning. I will never be this weak again. I need advice on how to move past this. How do I let go of him? We're still talking, although the conversation is bare and not like how it used to be. We aren't together anymore. I don't know how I'm going to let him go, and I don't know where to start. Blocking him off completely would delete me. Too long didn't read, broke up with a guy who ducked me over numerous times, have had an epiphany that it was always him that was the problem, and not me, but struggling to fully let him go. Don't talk to him. It may feel like it will be too much. It may feel right now like you can't do it. But you can. And you know you owe it yourself to cut him out. Every conversation you have with him is chipping away at your self-worth, whether you realize it or not. Cut him all the way out, block him, do not ever speak to him again. He has shown you what little respect he has for you. You know you're worth more, now prove it. You're right. I know you are, it's just so tough. After everything we've been through, I wouldn't want to leave it on a bad note, but I don't feel like I have any other choice. I've been through a very similar situation. It never gets better if you stay. Catching him each time gets a little easier every time though, doesn't it? Like you were expecting it.